I've had the experience a million times. I'm sure you have too, where there's a fun part of the process, which is the shopping.
Yes,
right?
I'm in that fun.
There's the fun part, and then there's the period where they get their offer accepted, and it's like, oh no!
Yeah,
and then the
it's
demeanor
real.
shifts, right?
It's
because
real.
they are in fight or flight, and it is stressful, and there is a human element to this. Everyone thinks it's just a transaction. It's way more than just a transaction.
And it really starts in escrow. Like people think our job is over and our job is to find a house. Oh no. It is escrow.
There's a lot.
Like escrow to the finish line. There's so many things, deadlines, things to get on, to make sure you get insurance, make sure you get everything,
And then after they close, because I get
after you close
design furniture, I get all my furniture wholesale, so we take them shopping. Because you want to spend $5,000 to get $10,000 out of it.
Sure.
You don't want to spend $10,000 and get $10,000 out of it. What's the point? But I know how to get them on the market and make them really presentable.
Welcome back, everybody. Jason Thibodeau, your host, with JMJ Financial. I'm the branch manager in Huntington Beach. Hi, you two.
Hi.
I am joined by my friends, Chrissy, Reilly, and Diane Kutinsky with Seven Gables Real Estate, also in Huntington Beach. They happen to be some of the top producers in the marketplace. They have a lot of industry experience. And so the whole point of this type of podcast is to offer up, value and education, right? So we're going to take this off with you two in terms of was there something specifically you wanted to start with? Because I know you had some ideas. I can ask you questions, but I want to let you run with it if you want.
I mean, we've just had quite an experiential weekend this last weekend with our listing that we had launched.
You had 7 offers.
Yeah, we had 7 offers. We had over 80 people in the open house. And there were going to be more than 7 offers. I mean, we talked to way more agents than that, but unfortunately the price was just already going up and up and up. And they were like, okay, we're we're outbid already. We're just not even going to step, put an offer in. But Diane, do you want to share how we prepared this home? I mean, it took us about 2 months.
Yeah. So the family is a trust sale, and the family did not want to spend a lot of money, preparing the house for market. And it basically needed a gut job, but we just decided to put a little Band-Aid on it, put a new roof on it, and then we painted it all white, removed all of her old furniture because it was the older style. She was in her 80s. Yeah. And staged it with really modern furniture, and just the paint and the furniture just really popped the house. People weren't even looking at cabinets and things that needed to be really done.
Yeah, and with our professional photography and videography, I mean, that got so many people through the door because it showed so well.
Yeah. One thing to say on that, I work with, my main referral partner is the real estate agent. And so I have a unique perspective where I do see a lot of realtors, even in spring busy season right now, actually really struggling to get offers, to get their property seen. Not a lot of foot traffic at open houses. So basic ideas of promotion, getting a property actually set up, staging. You mentioned gutting, right?
We wanted to gut it, but
it's for the seller's own good, and it also makes people excited to see the property, right?
100%. I mean, but we did, we do the minimum that makes it look really good with the biggest return on investment. So with the smallest cost.
So what you're trying to say is minimum effective dose.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So they put in the smallest amount of investment to get the biggest return. And I mean, it clearly showed. I mean, we can't share how far over asking we are right now, but we're really far over asking.
Well, and it's a 100 square foot house, and we painted that house for under $5,000.
What was the square footage?
A little about 2,600 approximate square feet, and we spent less than $5,000 painting that house.
And that goes a long way.
Yeah, ceilings, baseboards, everything.
And so you're saving them money on that piece too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right? Because what would that normally cost painting a 2,600 square foot house?
Probably $12,000.
Yeah, because of our vendors that work with us pretty exclusively. Yeah. I mean, we provide our vendors to all of our clients that either list or buy with us. Even if it's not just listing, but we're helping our buyers right now that got an off market.
I have an analogy. Okay. So when you are wanting sushi, right? And you are thinking to yourself, hey, that place sees 0 traffic. Or we can go to Sushi on Fire in downtown. And there's some turnover in that place, right? Which sushi joint are you going to eat at?
Yes, Sushi on Fire. And it may not even be the better place.
But you see what I'm saying, right?
Absolutely.
How in the world are we able to get a $12,000 paint job for $5,000 in Huntington Beach, right? It's because You guys have high transaction volume and a lot of experience.
Well, I do have a design background experience as well, so that does help.
Yeah. We'll touch on that a little bit. The
Pardon?
design background.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Your interior design experience.
My interior design.
I didn't know that about you.
Really?
Yeah.
I design celebrity homes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I like real estate more. And really, actually, how I got into was helping other realtors prepare the homes for the market at a low.
Like staging or?
Just getting the house ready by painting and fixing it up for a minimum of cost. Because you want to spend $5,000 to get $10,000 out of it.
Sure.
You don't want to spend $10,000 and get $10,000 out of it. What's the point? But I know how to get them on the market and make them really presentable.
Well, how many listing agents just take the listing though and don't do any of this stuff? Right?
Majority.
Talk about a disservice to your sellers.
Well, absolutely.
And again, the evidence of what you're doing, the power of it is the amount of offers you got. Again, I talked to a lot of realtors. There's some slow realtors in spring busy season right now with their listings, can't get an offer, can't get a bite.
Well, we'll say, I mean, just with Seven Gables in general, I think we do have an image overall that's, Diane and I, of course, but also with the other agents too. We have a standard of how we present our homes. So whenever you're going to a Seven Gables open house, and I've heard this amongst the public, is that, wow, I always go into a pretty open house. It's always Seven Gables, and that's showing, because we were on the top producer panel this last week speaking amongst our peers, and they were all sharing, like, they got multiple offers. They had 150 people at their open house. I mean, so other people in Huntington Beach, like, we're getting multiple offers.
Yeah, success leaves cues.
Definitely listed to present,
right.
Properly. So it's all in the preparation. You need to prepare for success and not just throw it on the market and see what sticks.
Yeah. What some folks might not know about the Huntington Beach marketplace right now is I think we're almost at 300 active listings, right? And that is probably quite a bit more than we're used to.
Right.
At this time of year.
Definitely not enough for the demand.
Yeah.
We have so many buyers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So many buyers.
Oh, you do?
Oh,
yes. We don't have a place to put them. Yeah.
And
really?
I mean, I'd say like 75% of them are cash. I mean, we do have a lot of cash buyers.
Yeah. Lucky for me.
Yeah. Otherwise, you would know about it, right? I mean,
yeah. But I'm a lender.
Yeah.
If anybody doesn't know.
Well, and I'm cold calling and knocking on doors to get.
Are you really, Diane?
100%.
I love that about you.
I know what that client wants. I'm going right to that front door.
Yes.
Has that always been a part of your DNA? It's so fascinating to me. You're just so incredibly motivated, unafraid. Was there ever resistance with that stuff in your mind? Or you were just...
No, because we know...
Well, people really have a tough time in sales with that stuff.
I love to talk.
Yeah. Well, how do you deal with the negativity or the rejection, right? What would your coaching be for a younger person in the industry?
Honestly, I don't get too much negativity because I've been here for so long.
So everyone knows you.
So basically, and I've done a lot of fundraising.
Yeah.
So a lot of people know me. And if they don't know me, I have something in common with them somehow.
Yeah.
Having 4 kids go through, Huntington School District, they might have kids or grandkids or somebody that has been through the school system.
Yeah.
Or I was involved in all kinds of PTA and things like that. So I always find some way to relate to those people.
Got it. So the human connection piece you're pretty good at.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And then giving back, the charity work. Do you want to touch on that a little bit, your charity work?
Well, I was every position at Seacliff Elementary.
Yeah.
I was every position almost at Dwyer. And then at the Huntington High, ran all the promotion. MMT Mom, I ran all their fundraisers.
Wow.
So basically, I've raised a little bit over $1 million for
Incredible.
Our school district.
And now we continue to donate to Seacliff Elementary and Huntington Christian Elementary.
Wow.
And we help run the galas, right? For them.
It's really inspiring.
And we like to
you're
give
really
back to the schools.
engaged. You're really engaged in your community.
Yeah.
Yes, we do a lot of
100%.
events.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's definitely our focus is, working with people in the area, giving back. And that's how we get to meet people, but also feel good about what we're doing and giving back.
Yeah. All right.
And for an agent that doesn't necessarily know everyone, because I didn't know anyone in Huntington Beach, right? So I wanted to make it.
How many years ago was that?
So I've been in Huntington for almost 10 years
10
now.
years, okay.
Yeah. But I mean, I did not grow up here. I grew up in San Diego. So when I came up here, starting real estate, you think you have to have a big family, friends, know everybody. And I literally had to reinvent myself, but I didn't have any sphere of influence at all. So just getting with the right brokerage, getting with the right agents, networking, doing open houses, and then being your authentic self. So I think if you just are kind to people and nice to people, you make a connection with them, whether or not you may know them or know something about, it's the area, right? You just connect with them. And we talked about this on the panel this last week. You have to be authentic.
It takes a lot of courage, though.
Yeah, it was hard. I mean, it was, like I said, the open houses was everything for me.
Yeah. Do we hear the story about how you two connected?
I think we touched upon it a little bit. Did we? Or did you mean to ask it and didn't ask it?
I don't know.
I don't remember, but let's touch upon it.
Oh, okay. We may have on the last time.
I mean, speaking of, I went to go support a Seven Gables agent, Diane. She was hosting an open house, and I got to meet her at her open house. And then she asked me, hey, she liked me off the bat. And she's like, do you want to host my open house tomorrow for me? And I said, sure. And so then I hosted her. And then we ended up selling that house again. Yes. Just this February. So it was like, it was so funny.
And there was probably some mentorship from her that came as well.
Yeah, absolutely. She got the Rising Star Award, I don't know, like maybe 2 years before me or a year before me. I don't know. We both got the Rising Star Award at our office. Yeah. So like we obviously have similar,
your story?
Mentor each other. Honestly, Chrissy's very good at certain things, and I think I'm good at certain things, and we just work really well together. Yeah. And she's a go-getter, which I like. Yeah.
I was gonna say
we are never settling over here. Like neither one of us. We're both like need to work on that.
Yeah.
It's the old adage. My dad used to say, you've probably heard this before, but the harder I work, the luckier I get.
It's true.
You know
absolutely.
What I mean, it is hard work. You just have to put that hard work in.
Yeah, our problem is we don't take a day off. We say we're going to, but we pretty much work 7 days a week.
Yeah. Well, once you get that ball rolling, it's hard to stop it.
100%.
It's a good problem to have.
Yes,
I tell like my husband this. It's like when you're at the top, it's harder to stay at the top than it is to like climb to the top.
Yeah.
So and I've felt that in everything I've done, in life. Like to keep that first place position is that's way harder than just getting there.
It's great to have that sense of purpose when you wake up every morning too.
Oh, I mean, I don't think we hate. Yeah, I don't think we even feel like we're working.
Yeah. Honestly, I love it.
Yeah,
we both love it.
Well, you can see the energy between you two. Quick segue before I forget. Yeah. We were talking about the listing side and what you guys do. What about the buyer side? Right. I know that's important too. We just had the NAR lawsuit settlements. There's some new paperwork involved. You get to see probably some really incredible offers and then some really subpar offers. So I'm curious, like, what your take is on the buy side.
I don't think it's really changed much, do you?
No, I mean, what we've experienced this last weekend, we had obviously people coming into the open house thinking, hey, how are things going? Like now I saw on the news, I have to pay my buyer's agent. And I'm like, okay, let me just have like a 30-minute conversation with you right now. I mean, I'm like, let me go into a buyer consult with you right now because like Diane said, nothing has really changed other than we have more buyer consultations now. We have more sit downs with our buyers and get to know them deeper level, which is really great because then we do go hunt for those off markets for our buyers. And then at the other token, like the sellers continuously
are paying. Yeah, the sellers are still offering commission to the buyer agents that we've seen so far. It hasn't really changed.
But there's a tendency in this industry right now for buyers to want to approach listing agents directly and do the dual agency because they feel, and I understand this, they feel that that's going to give them the best chance to get an offer accepted.
Yes, we're getting a lot of that.
Yeah. Like, what's your take on that? Like, isn't buyer representation still important? And how do you have a fiduciary responsibility to both sides? I don't know. I'm just curious.
We when we sell a property, if we're both involved, let's say she's representing, she'll take the buyer and she'll present for that buyer, and then I'm representing.
That's what's cool about your team. Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm getting a lot of that where they walk in and they say, and I'm like, what is the benefit? And they think they can get the house. And I'm like, we had 7 offers this weekend and we were representing both sides, but they didn't get it either.
Yeah.
So we had it's really different parties want us to write an offer. Yeah. So at the end of the day, there's one winner. Oh, yeah. There's one winner. So there's no guarantee. And I mean, finances come into play too. Like just because, you have the listing agent, there's someone that could look better.
So coaching for buyers though, Chrissy, if they're listening to this, what's the coaching for a buyer to give them their best shot if they're getting financing?
Yes.
Right? To get an offer accepted. Like how are we presenting an offer to
almost like cash?
Yeah. So and like we've won out on many we've beat out many cash offers by properly preparing our buyers ahead of time through a buyer consultation with us and the lender, Jason or, whomever you choose. But the main thing
Excuse
is,
me.
yes, of course, Jason's the main thing. Get fully
I
underwritten.
had to throw that in there.
I just have to be ethical here. We're very ethical.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you have to get fully underwritten so that essentially you can remove that appraisal and loan contingency. Obviously, when you're riding with like Diane and I, we know the area so well. We are not going to have you overpay for a home.
That's right.
So you're normally, I'd say 99.9% of the time, we've never had this happen, but there's always a chance that the appraisal is going to come in. So on value or even above value.
I can vouch for that. Yeah, we don't have appraisal issues these days.
No, and that's because you're not overpaying if you're, offering properly and
Right.
We feel comfortable with what we're offering.
Yeah.
If we're going 300,000 over asking,
Well, you're setting yourself up for failure is what you're doing. Yeah.
so we don't do that. We're
Pretty straight shooters on that.
Yeah, we're going to tell
We
them.
can shorten the contingencies too.
Yeah.
So we try to make it more like a cash so we can compete with cash offers. And that does help.
And close of escrow, shortening that to be, let's say 17 days. Maybe we can do, I think we've done a 15-day on a loan before, which so right now
You can
cash
do 10.
offers, that's
If
just really hectic. It depends if you're going in an HOA or something.
You can
'cause-
remove the financing contingency altogether.
Yes.
Ideally, not on an HOA, right?
right.
Because you're
HOAs
not
are just-
right.
right, you
Yeah.
cannot do that.
Yeah, because they can take time to get us docs and
Yeah.
then sometimes 10 days,
Right.
even though your contingencies or your escrows 10
HOAs
days.
are
And
tough.
it's
It's a whole different ballgame.
yeah, so we
Yeah.
do, even though we go in strong and we say it's 15 days, sometimes we have to extend escrow because HOA docs is taking too long.
Yeah.
There was one thing I wanted to point out about why buyer representation is so important that Diane and I discussed with a client this past weekend. And we shared with them, if you're going to the listing agent, you're only seeing properties on the open market that everyone else has already seen. We are in escrow right now with our buyer, our loyal exclusive buyer with an off-market property. The off-market property was fun. We found cold calling. So this is the effort that we're putting in on the side for our buyers behind the scenes when we know exactly what they want because they sat down with us, that we had an actual, face-to-face conversation to get to know exactly what they're looking for. So then we're able to match them with people before they ever hit the market. So if you go to the listing agent, you never know about this property.
Super fascinating. You guys are cold calling off market.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed. Well,
Well-
Diane is the cold caller.
I'm blown away by this, right? Because I don't think a lot of agents do this type of thing.
She's the best.
Buyers that missed out on that want us to represent on the one we just sold.
Yeah.
So I know exactly what they want.
Mhm.
So I'm going to be cold calling those people and we'll be door knocking them.
Yeah.
And then that gives them the opportunity to buy it off market because a lot of people don't want to go on market. They
Wow.
would rather sell
Yeah.
off. If
Well,
they
and
get
they're
the
cash
price.
They don't
buyers
wanna
and
deal
they're
with
ready
it,
to
yeah.
buy.
They
They're
don't want
cash
open
buyers
houses.
ready to buy. Proof of funds there. So it's they're already so hot. We need to find them something fast
Yeah.
because they're ready to buy now.
Yeah.
So we are it's going to be love letters, isn't door knocking. Anything we can do to find these homes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
so that's a big benefit. And then we
Just
have
inventory
pre-qualify
is
them. We've
just-
got them set up if
Yeah.
they're not cash buyers. But we'll find a lot of senior citizens that don't want to do open house. They just want to sell
Yeah.
their house and move.
Yeah.
So we find that a lot with that. But we still,
That's next level service, though. It really is.
yeah,
Yeah.
we still literally help them move.
Oh, pack up,
Pack
clean
up,
out,
clean
estate
out.
sale.
Do you really?
Oh,
100%.
yeah.
We get
Yeah.
dirty. We don't
Oh,
always look like
man.
this.
Oh yeah, no, we get our.
You do. I was
sweats
going
on.
to say, you get your hands dirty.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
we show
Yeah.
up most of the time with no makeup
I'm
on.
exhausted just listening to this.
I scrub
We're
toilets.
pretty exhausted.
We scrub floors. We pack.
There's a reason I chose to be a lender when I was deciding which side to join. A lender is Monday through Friday banker hours.
I know,
right?
I know.
And I'm sitting behind a computer screen analyzing tax returns and talking to people on the phone most of the day. And I'm trying to imagine myself in your shoes. And I don't know that I am cut out to be a realtor, just for the record. So kudos to you.
Thank you. It is it doubles as a workout, like door knocking. We're getting our steps
You get your steps in.
Yeah,
All right. So how many average steps per day are we averaging? Can we track that?
I always get around 8,000. I try to go
I
for
don't
10.
So
I
I
have
have
a 2.5-year-old.
Oh, you-
I have an Aura ring
Oh, you
Uh-huh.
do?
and I have an Apple Ultimate, right?
Uh-huh.
The watch. So I'm a nerd. I like to.
See, I don't have
I
it.
got my husband the Aura ring.
You just have very expensive jewelry.
Sit down, so I don't need it. I don't sit down.
This is just for today. I'm actually wearing my Apple Watch.
Are you? Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
See,
I
I don't.
gotta look good on camera, but no, I'm usually
That's
wearing
such a
an Apple
pretty
Watch.
watch. Oh, my
Thank
God.
you. My
Yeah.
birthday gift.
I'm trying to learn
Nice.
how to sit down. So
Yeah.
I need to come.
Yeah, just to sit down.
Yeah. Steps are not a problem.
No.
No, we can go for days.
Okay. Well,
Well, she had 4 kids, right? And
Yeah.
3 grandchildren. And I have a 2.5-year-old, so we're
All
always
right.
running around.
let's wrap this up with that. Like, what's your driving purpose? What's your why? I'm just always curious on a personal level, what gets you up in the morning. And
we love helping people, customer service. I mean, we've never had a unhappy client.
yeah,
We've always gone way out of our way for everybody. Just look at the one we at Peachtree. We helped them pack up. It was a tough situation, and it all went well. Everybody's happy, but we've had some tough sales.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you hold space for folks who are in that fight or flight mode in a difficult transaction where they're maybe melting down a little bit? Like, what is your approach in those situations? Because that matters too. A realtor, if they are also emotionally responding and also losing their equilibrium, we'll call it.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't help, right?
No. We're very.
How are you responding to that?
I mean, we're like therapists.
Yeah.
No, we're definitely even keel, and we just stay calm and let them kind of vent to us.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times they just need to be heard. And so it just depends. But like, I mean, I've even helped a client like with her DMV. I mean,
Dorothy.
Yeah, I helped her with her DMV test. Whatever it took to get her ready to get out of the house, and she, needed to update her credit cards, her address, her this, her that, and like she's in her 80s, and
stress management's real. It is.
100%. And so if that's making her cry, I'm like, let's just get this done, check it off the list,
incredible,
and go back to then going through all your stuff that's been there for 45 years.
Here's what I think a lot of people don't understand when they get into a real estate transaction. I mean, we might, but even some realtors don't, especially sellers and buyers. They don't understand. Most of the time, especially during the escrow period, they're actually in fight or flight. I've had the experience a million times, I'm sure you have too, where there's a fun part of the process, which is the shopping.
Yes,
right?
I'm in that fun.
There's the fun part. And then there's the period where they get their offer accepted and it's like, oh no.
Yeah,
and then the demeanor shifts, right?
It's
because
real.
they are in fight or flight and it is stressful and there is a human element to this. Everyone thinks it's just a transaction. It's way more than just a transaction.
And it really starts in escrow. Like people think our job is over and our job is to find a house. Oh, no. It is escrow.
There's a lot.
Like escrow to the finish line. There's so many things, deadlines, things to get on, to make sure you get insurance, make sure you get everything,
And then after they close, because I get
and then after you close,
design furniture, I get all my furniture wholesale, so we take them shopping.
Yeah.
Really?
Or design.
Are you going to help me design my new office space, by the way?
If you ask me, I did Magic Johnson's.
Okay. We need to have a conversation off camera about this, okay?
And we're remodeling our client's house right now. There's a doctor and a lawyer. They have not really even stepped foot at the house. We met the contractors. We met the painter, the electrician, the HVAC guy, got all the quotes. And then we're like, okay, they gave us, we need to move in by June 30 or June 1st. Okay, we got to get this done in 2.5 weeks.
We're running the job.
Yeah.
We're running the job. Yeah. We're giving them all the vendors.
Almost like a general contractor.
We are. We're general managers.
I don't know how we got that, but we are.
I would say project managers for sure.
It's impressive. Like, as you're listening to this, folks, you could probably tell there's so much that they bring to the table. And all realtors are not created equal. I think we can all agree with that. So hopefully we're showcasing that in an effective way today. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
If I was selling a home, I'd want to hire you. But we're in our forever home. The opportunity will present itself at some point. I'm going to close this out, but I do want to get your take on one last thing. This is happening a lot right now in Orange County, Southern California in general, the fix and flip. Okay. And of course, the buyer walks into the home and they're like, ooh, this is beautiful. Right. And then there's this issue, is it lipstick on a pig or is it an actual quality flip? And are you running into that a lot and how do you handle these things?
So I'm in escrow right now, saw this beautiful home. Yeah. Again, we're always looking at the market. So I see a great price for a home on a golf course, great location. And again, real estate's always buying the location. Yeah, so if you love the location, you love the piece of land, the home can be changed. You have to
see through some of that.
Yeah, the home can be changed. So obviously on the surface, it was a beautiful flip. And then we get into one inspection after another inspection after another. And I mean, it's become over $70,000 in additional repairs that need to be done. And a month that I won't be able to move into the home until after.
This was a fix and
flip. New roof, new asbestos. Asbestos ductwork. Literally all electrical was done wrong. The furnace wasn't working. The roof was leaking, and they spent money and put some sealant on the roof, thinking it was waterproofing it. And it didn't do anything. There was literally moisture because we luckily had all this rain in California, which we never do. And I got to see that there was moisture, which was a blessing. It was really good timing to be able to measure and get. But it turns out to negotiate. And at the end of the day, they're telling me that he himself and his family are the ones that did the job. But now California has the law called the Flippers Law. It passed last July. That's right. And you can request from the flipper or the seller themselves, like the name and number of every contractor that worked on the home for anything over $500. I wasn't given any of that
People
information.
don't know that stuff, by the way, so it's super important that you mention that.
Yeah, so just keep your eye, make sure you're working with an agent that knows what's going on so they can get all that information for you ahead of time. Read the disclosures properly, because again, they just say, oh, I never lived in the home. I didn't know. And that's not okay.
When our buyers are buying flips too, we get a lot of inspections. We kind of do a lot more than we really have to, like sewer scopes and things like that, because we don't know what the quality of the flipping is necessarily. I mean, you can do it. So we find them out through inspections, and we have a lot of inspectors.
Yeah. But general inspector is not necessarily, going to be the end all be all, because general inspectors cannot share or they cannot say certain things because they want to protect their booty. That's okay. Right. So I did not know that there was asbestos ductwork in the house until I had an HVAC specialist come on out after to fix the furnace. And then they say, wait a minute, this is asbestos ducting. It all has to go out. Right. And this was
That's an important insight, Chrissy.
Yeah. Already after I did the general inspection.
Yeah. I think a lot of people feel like, though, the buyers, okay, I got my home inspection done, I'm good. Yeah. Right? And that's not necessarily the case.
No, not necessarily.
No, and I know it does cost money, and buyers are like, I don't want to spend more money on inspections if I'm going to back out.
There's something called an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Yeah. Right?
Well, $70,000. I mean, I could have spent maybe
really good at cliches, by the way.
Girl, I got $1,000 in inspections to like $70,000 in work. I mean, I really could have gotten a little bit more.
Well, and we do sewer scopes. So we just did one, and we've got a little problem with sewer. So the seller's willing to help pay for that.
But the key is you found that in the escrow period. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. In your contingency period, the first like 3 days of escrow, inspection's done, and then we usually have sewer scope done at the same exact time by the same inspector. So that saves money because it's one company.
And the roof.
Well, the roof was brand new.
Yeah, this one was new, so.
Yeah, we did a pre-listing inspection on our property. So when it's a trust sale, we tend to do a pre-listing inspection. So we know, since the seller trustee never lived in the home, he doesn't know what's happened. So we need to know what we're going to sell, right? So we do the inspection ahead of time.
I feel like we could talk forever about this.
Oh, yeah. I know, and we did electrical, and we did the plumbing. We did all of that
before we listed it.
Yeah, before we listed it.
It's all such good information. Right. And this is life-changing for a lot of people, like whether or not you're being represented properly decides whether or not you get the home that you're dreaming of living in. Right? The school district that you want, the impact that has on you, your spouse, your kids. The stakes are really high, right? Yeah. And once you get over the hump of getting your offer accepted, okay, you've done that, but now are we safe with this home, right? And proper representation is just so important. I can end it here, or we can ask you one more question. It's up to you.
I mean, we could keep talking.
I know.
When it comes to this inspection thing,
once you get flowing, it's hard to stop. Just talk to us about condos real quick. Condos are I won't call them a problem, but they're more challenging these days. Insurance issues. There's an inspection law that passed, SB 326. We've been successful doing rescue escrows for a lot of these SB 326 issues with condominiums because, we're make sense underwriting, but a lot of people, like the last one we had was cross-country mortgage. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention names, but relocation, cross-country, another mortgage company out of state doing this transaction for a condo. Okay. And of course, SB 326, right? Oh, the balcony inspection. Oh, this is not looking so hot. Well, if you read the inspection report, there's no health and safety issues. Yeah. Okay. Right. And we're able to get a statement that says there's no health and safety issues from the inspector, and it's very clear and obvious. If you're working with the wrong professional, the wrong lender, they're just going to, out of state, they don't understand the marketplace, the law, what's going on here. We're just not funding this loan, right? And then the problem is, guess what? We're 27 days into a 30-day escrow, right? So I get the frantic calls a lot because of those things. I'm sure one of the things, like with a listing on a condo, I'm sure there's work that you guys have to do ahead of time to make sure you understand, can this property even get financing?
I mean, in Huntington Beach, I think most of our, HOAs that we're familiar with are just very good HOAs. Yeah.
Well managed.
Well managed, well funded. But I mean, just on my personal investment condo here in Seabridge, I just got an email 2 days ago of that the master insurance policy changed from a walls in to a bare walls policy with a $50,000 deductible.
Yeah.
And since this was a grandfathered in condo with State Farm, I don't know if I'm going to, because they'll essentially have to rewrite the policy because it's going to be completely new. I don't know if I'll get State Farm again. I'm probably going to have to go somewhere else, which is fine because we have
an insurance agent.
MK here. Yeah. She's been helping, our clients out and myself personally. So I'll have to be switching, but that's some pretty bad news. Insurance companies just raised them so high that every homeowner is going to have to, take on that extra.
That's just the tip of the iceberg on condos. We won't get too in the weeds on it. I'm just like showcasing it because I'm trying to make sure everyone's super clear in the audience listening to this, how important it is to have proper representation.
Absolutely.
We're going to include your contact information on the actual episode itself. But if you want to give out a phone number or your Instagram tag.
Yeah. Well, I'm at Chrissy Realty and Diane.
Diane Kutinsky Realty. Yeah.
Realtor.
Realtor. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. So.
And then my number is 760-519-4811.
And my phone number is 714-420-3664.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for spending
our
time
website.
today.
That's a little easier.
Need a
website.
sellingseacliff.com. So very easy. Selling Seacliff.
Right on. You guys are a resource of information. Thank you for your time today, and thank you for listening, everybody. If you did find value in this, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.